He kicked her out in the pouring rain, for his pregnant mistress. But what he didn't know, the woman he just threw away, owned everything he had, and more. Stay till the end, because what happens next will blow your mind. And if you love stories of karma, revenge, and miracles, make sure to subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss the next shocking story. She stood in the rain, her designer dress clinging to her trembling body, mascara mixing with tears as the mansion gates closed behind her. The same gates she had opened every morning for 7 years as the loyal, loving wife of billionaire CEO Adrian Kane, the man she believed was her forever, until tonight when he kicked her out for his pregnant mistress, a woman half her age who had whispered poison into his ears for months, convincing him that Emily was a burden, cold, and unloving, when in truth, she had given up her own dreams, her own company, her entire identity to support him from the shadows. Adrian's voice still echoed in her head, "You're nothing without me, Emily. You've lived off my money for years. Get out." Words like knives, slicing through every memory they ever shared. She had looked at him one last time, her heart breaking but her eyes burning with a quiet fire, because he didn't know the truth that the empire he thought was his, had always been hers. The luxury penthouse, the cars, even the company he ran, all built on her silent wealth, her inheritance hidden under a trust name her late grandfather created before he died, leaving her the secret owner of Kane Industries, a company she had let Adrian run because she believed in love more than power. But tonight, something inside her died, and something else was born, a woman ready to take back everything. As she walked through the rain, a black limousine stopped beside her, and the tinted window rolled down revealing Mr. Sterling, her grandfather's old lawyer, his voice calm but firm. "Miss Emily, it's time." She hesitated, confused, until he handed her a folder. Inside were documents revealing her full ownership, her grandfather's hidden will, and a letter that said, "Never let love blind you from your own worth." Emily's trembling fingers gripped the papers as 1,000 emotions flooded her. Pain, anger, betrayal, but above all, power. She didn't need to beg anyone to stay. She was about to rise higher than ever before. The next morning, Adrian flaunted his new mistress, Olivia, at the company gala, laughing as reporters swarmed them, calling her the future Mrs. Kane. Emily watched from the balcony of a nearby skyscraper, calm and composed, wearing a black silk gown and a diamond necklace worth millions, one of the few assets she hadn't transferred to Adrian's control. "Let him enjoy his moment," she whispered, before calling Sterling again. "It's time to trigger the transfer." That night, while Adrian toasted his success, he got a call from his finance manager, his accounts frozen, shares transferred, control revoked. The board had voted to replace him, and the new chairwoman was none other than Emily Kane. The look on his face when he stormed into the boardroom the next morning, demanding answers, was priceless. He froze when he saw her sitting in the CEO's chair, her posture elegant, eyes sharp, smile calm. "Emily, what is this?" he stammered. She looked up slowly and said, "Correction, Mr. Kane, it's Mrs. Kane, and this company has always been mine." The entire boardroom fell silent. Olivia, standing beside him with her baby bump, looked terrified. "You can't do this," Adrian shouted. Emily leaned forward, her voice steady. "You did it to yourself when you threw me away." Cameras flashed as she publicly exposed his infidelity, his misuse of company funds, and his manipulation. In minutes, he went from CEO to criminal, escorted out of the building he once called his kingdom. Emily watched him leave, her heart breaking again, not out of love, but out of grief for the woman she once was. But fate wasn't done yet. Months later, Olivia showed up at Emily's doorstep, broken, abandoned, pregnant, and crying. Adrian had vanished with her money, leaving her homeless. Emily's instinct told her to slam the door, but her heart, despite everything, couldn't. She let Olivia in, gave her food, shelter, and even helped deliver her baby when complications arose. That night, as Olivia wept and apologized, Emily said softly, "We both loved the wrong man. Don't let that destroy your life." Olivia left a week later, naming her baby, Hope, in honor of the woman she once betrayed. Meanwhile, Adrian resurfaced, in court. He tried to sue Emily, claiming emotional abuse, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. He lost everything: his status, his fortune, even his freedom. In the end, he was sentenced for fraud and tax evasion, his downfall broadcast nationwide. Emily didn't attend the trial. Instead, she stood on the balcony of her new company headquarters, looking at the city lights below, whispering, "Justice isn't revenge, it's peace." But the story didn't end there. 1 year later, a mysterious man appeared at her charity gala, tall, kind-eyed, with a familiar face. It was Ethan Cross, her college sweetheart, the one she left years ago to marry Adrian. "You look like you've walked through fire," he said softly. She smiled, "And I came out alive." Ethan had become a successful architect, building homes for orphans and veterans. Their paths crossed again as he helped design a new orphanage funded by Emily's foundation, the Hope Trust, named after Olivia's baby. Through months of collaboration, laughter returned to Emily's life. Slowly, love bloomed again, not from pain but from healing. When Ethan proposed under a starlit sky, he said, "This time, no secrets, no shadows. Just us." She said yes, not because she needed someone to save her, but because she finally loved herself enough to choose happiness. Years later, as she watched children play in the orphanage courtyard, Ethan by her side, Olivia visiting with little hope, and even reporters calling her the woman who rose from betrayal to billionaire philanthropist, Emily whispered to herself, "Sometimes being thrown away is just life's way of setting you free." But in the deepest part of her heart, she kept one secret, her grandfather's second letter, unopened until now. She took it out one evening and read, "My dear Emily, wealth can build empires, but kindness builds legacies. You have both. Never forget. Forgiveness is the final form of power." Tears glistened in her eyes as she realized, she hadn't just won back her life. She had transformed it. The woman who once stood in the rain, broken and alone, now stood tall under the stars, stronger, wiser, and finally at peace. And as the screen fades to black, a soft voice echoes, she was thrown out of her own home, but destiny had a bigger mansion waiting, in her heart. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes, karma takes time, but when it strikes, it's beautiful.